So today I'm actually reviewing the Lenovo Tab Plus. And this tablet is shocking, and honestly it's quite refreshing because it's a mid-range or a budget tablet with some of the best speakers that I've ever heard out of any tablet. It also has a kickstand built in. The compromises it makes, yes, it does make quite a few compromises, but of course you're gonna get that in a mid-range or a budget tablet. But when you compare it out there to a lot of other budget tablets, you're gonna get a very unique tablet and a tablet with a lot of value. So with all that being said, let's get into it and let's talk about the Lenovo Tab Plus in this full review. So I have the Lenovo Tab Plus here, and one of my favorite parts of this tablet, it really does have to be this design. Of course, if you look at the kickstand on the back of this tablet, you're gonna get this really awesome kickstand that has quite a few different angles, and of course it is very, very sturdy, so it's really nice to have that. Now, no, the kickstand doesn't go all the way across the tablet like a Surface Pro, and it's not the same as having a Galaxy Tab keyboard cover or something like that, but still, it's really, really nice that if you do put it on a table, you're gonna have a lot of different positions to watch content on, and that's really a big draw to this when you compare it to other budget tablets. You are going to get the bezels that you often see on a lot of budget tablets, and I do understand some of you won't like that. That is one of the minor compromises here. But if you do also look around on the tablet, you are gonna see that you get these two speakers that are absolutely incredible. Now, they did use JBL speakers here, and I thought it might be a gimmick. Maybe the speakers aren't gonna be all that good. But whenever I tested it out for myself, I was completely blown away. Whenever you actually turn on some music and you turn it on really loud, you could actually feel the speakers bumping, and I actually did a little bit of a speaker test. Normally, I don't like to do a speaker test on tablets because it's really, really hard to tell how good speakers are because, of course, we're recording it with a microphone, but I did actually test the speakers here, and I compared them a little bit with the Galaxy Tab S10 Plus, which is a $1,000 tablet, right? So comparing these speakers to a $1,000 tablet, feel free to check out the results for yourself. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's talk about these keyboard covers. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's talk about these keyboard covers. So these are great. I'm not ready to say that they're the best tablet speakers that I've ever seen. Of course, some of you might prefer the EQ settings on a Galaxy tablet, for example, and maybe the Galaxy Tab S10 Ultra speakers are a little bit better. It is still a little bit tough for me to say, but either way, I am in love with the speakers, of course, on this tablet. And if you move on and you mix that in with the kickstand and you look at the other parts of the design of the tablet, I do think it looks really, really nice for a budget tablet. Yeah, it is around $300, and I do think the word budget does depend on who you are, but I really like the design. The one downside that I see is that there is no fingerprint sensor. You are going to have to rely on Face Unlock. The good news is Face Unlock does work better here than it did in previous Lenovo tablets, so I did have a decent experience. Of course, it won't work great in low lighting or anything like that, and it won't be as good as the Face Unlock you're going to get on some really expensive iPads or iPhones, but either way, I still enjoyed it, and it's a decent compromise that I'm okay living with. Now, when we look at the rest of this tablet, you are going to see that it's pretty much a Galaxy Tab A9 Plus in a lot of ways. It's basically going to be comparable to some other $230 tablets out there. Now, the good news is I have seen a lot of sales on the Lenovo Tab Plus. I've seen it go as low as $189 on Lenovo's website. So there is going to be a little bit of fluctuation depending on price. There is a 128 gigabyte of storage model and one model that does have 256 gigs of storage. But if you look at the retail price, you are going to pay a little bit more than something like the Tab A9 Plus. So basically, you're going to pay $60 more of retail price to really get the awesome kickstand and the speakers that you have here. That's really what you're looking at, because if you look at the display, if you look at performance, I would argue this is going to be very similar to something like the Lenovo Tab M11 or the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. I would say the performance is going to be a little bit closer to the A9 Plus. In fact, it's going to be very, very close if you do look at some benchmarks online. So the main thing you need to know is that if you look at the display, it's good for a budget tablet. It might not be a $300 tablet worth of niceness in the screen. Like, it's not quite as good as something like the Galaxy Tab S9 FE, but it's still pretty close. You do get a 90 Hz display, and you also get, well, a decent resolution overall. It's a 2000 by 1200 resolution, it's an 11.5-inch screen, and it's about 400 nits of brightness. So this tablet screen, it is good, don't get me wrong, but I probably wouldn't bring it with me if I'm going out to the great outdoors. If I'm trying to touch a little bit of grass here, I probably wouldn't bring it with me here. Why? Well, the brightness levels are going to be a little bit low compared to some higher end tablets at least. And even if you don't really care too much about that, just know if you bring it outside, you're probably not going to get a great amount of visibility. Again, a minor compromise when you're talking about a budget tablet. But if you are someone who wants to use this tablet just for watching basic media, it does have a decent screen, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be more comparable to something, again, like the Tab A9 Plus. It's not going to be a screen that's going to compare with $400 or $500 or $600 tablets, and it won't quite be as good as some other OLED devices out there. So I would say it's a very good screen to watch content on, and it is really nice whenever you're propping it up around the house or something. Now, if we move on and look at performance, this does have a MediaTek processor. It's the Helio G99 processor. It is going to be decent. If you are opening up apps, it's not going to be super laggy, depending on your expectations. Expectations are very much a key here. If you are someone who always has the latest tech, if you're someone who really likes your iPads, and I'm talking about really nice iPads especially, and if you're someone who likes top-end Galaxy tablets like the Tab S9 or the Tab S10, of course you're going to have a bad time here. But if you are someone who is used to the performance that you get from a budget tablet, this is actually going to be pretty good overall. You will get slightly better performance whenever you compare this to the Lenovo Tab M11, and you will get pretty equivalent performance if you compare this with the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. So I am really impressed overall with the performance. It does do fairly well, especially with a 90 Hz refresh rate, so it does feel pretty smooth in general. But of course, if you are opening up a lot of apps, you are going to have to wait a little bit. It does have 8 gigs of RAM, and it is more than enough. Even on the base model, it is nice to get 8 gigs of RAM, because on the Galaxy Tab A9 Plus, you are only going to get 4 gigabytes of RAM in the base model. So if you think about that, whenever you pay more money for more RAM on the A9 Plus, you're going to be almost at the same price as far as retail price as this Lenovo Tab Plus. But this Lenovo is going to have the speakers and the kickstand to go with it. So that's where it really gets interesting. Lenovo definitely has an advantage here over Samsung whenever you are looking at value and bang for your buck. But Samsung, on the other hand, they really do have one big advantage, and it is going to be the software updates that they provide. Now, Lenovo is saying that they will give 2 years of operating system updates to this tablet and 4 years of security updates. Now, that is a big improvement from previous years where Lenovo support hasn't been quite as good. But I will say Samsung typically is a little bit better as far as their tablets with quicker software updates, and I will say that they do typically have longer software updates, at least with most of their tablets. Also on a Samsung tablet, you do have Samsung DeX, which is going to be a little bit better than any productivity mode that you get from Lenovo, for example. But Lenovo does have some big software tricks up their sleeve as well. They are actually allowing you to connect your device. If you have a phone, for example, if you want to use the speakers on this Lenovo with the Bluetooth settings, for example, you can. So that is really nice. If you want to take advantage of these speakers, you don't have to bring around a nice big Bluetooth speaker with you, because you do have the speakers from this tablet. This tablet does give you a lot more versatility than you're going to get from something like a Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. Now, I don't think it's a productivity machine, for example, because it doesn't have that great monstrous power that you're going to find in a much more expensive tablet. But this still will do nicely for for productivity. If you do want to pull up a Bluetooth keyboard with it, it's going to work fine. And Lenovo does actually sell a pen that will actually work, or a stylus that will work with this tablet, and it should be a good experience. I am going to leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. I really do believe that life is often about compromises. It's one reason why I'm actually going right now to shop at Walmart. And I'm going because there's some stuff I need to get. Sometimes that's where I buy my jeans. I don't buy $100 jeans, right? I have to really make sacrifices to figure out what's right for me. And that's what most people are looking for in their tablets. You might sacrifice the screen, and you might sacrifice some minor inconveniences, or you might have to wait an extra half a second for something to load. But in exchange, you could get a really good deal. You could save like $700 and really get amazing speakers and get an incredible kickstand in a really unique design for a really good price. And that's what I think this tablet is about. Compromising on some things, but in exchange, getting a pretty good value. So this tablet is pretty good overall. It's really great with battery life, for example. It does have an 8600 milliamp battery, and that battery is going to be pretty large compared to a lot of budget tablets, and even compared to some flagship tablets out there. So you're gonna get really good battery life, an 11.5-inch screen with a really nice kickstand, and I can't say enough about the speakers. So Lenovo is saying we have 4 tweeters here in the speakers and 4 balanced woofers. Now, I don't know a lot about speakers. All I know is tweeters from Twitter, so I don't really know what they're talking about necessarily. I'm not a big speaker guy, but I could tell you it is really welcome to have a tablet that has a unique functionality, that could really work as a Bluetooth speaker, that has a really nice kickstand on it, so there is a ton to like. So hopefully this review has helped you out. If you do like it, feel free to give me a like, and you could also give me a sub. That would mean a ton to me. And another way that you could support my channel is by actually subscribing, and you could also use those links in the description. That is another great way to support me and to help yourself find a really good deal, because I have seen some really good sales on this tablet. Also, if you want to check out some other content, I cover Android tablets like all of the time. So feel free to check out some other videos. If you need anything else, of course, leave a comment. I've been very busy, but I'll try to get to the comments whenever I can. And I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy your week. And again, feel free to check out some more tablet content.